Okay, so now for our workbook page, dividing by a mixed number, page 233, okay? There's your explanation. I don't like to start with story problems. Go down to section 2. Okay, and let me blow this up just a little bit bigger. I'm only going to help you with the first one in each section. So here's the first one. Which reminds me, I don't know if we went back to story problems last time, but oh well, you guys, they're not that hard, are they? This is easy. Okay, so we have 3/4 divided by 2.5. So down here, so they gave us lots of room. Let's do that. Let's do the 3/4 divided by what this would be, which is 2. Is that the problem we just did on the top? That's weird. They don't usually do the same problem on the page. Okay, well, so we just did this. 3/4 divided by 5/2. So we're going to flip it upside down. 3/4 times 2/5. We'll just do this whole thing again. If you didn't get it the last time, you'll get it now. Okay, 2 and 4 can be divided by the same number. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Then we multiply with the numbers that we have left. 3 times 1 is 3. 2 times 5 is 10. So it's 3/10. I feel like that's not the same answer we got, so maybe that was a different problem. Just double checking that I did it right. Okay, 3/10 on that one, okay? And then the next section is stuff that we already know how to do, but I'll still refresh your memory. 4 divided by 2/3. I hope you can see that pink. Let me try the orange. Okay, so let's rewrite this one time. 4/1 divided by 2/3. So you know we're putting 4 over 1. Now come down and multiply it. 4 over 1. Don't let the left side never changes, it stays. This is the one you invert, the right one, the one on the right. So we're going to flip this upside down. 3/2. Wow, this is, yeah, slightly different than the last time. As I say, I'm losing my mind. Okay, 4 divided by 2 is 2. Let me get rid of this so you can see it better. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 2 times 3 equals 6. 1 times 1 equals 1. And 6 over 1 equals 6 whole pizzas, right? Okay, next section. Letter K. We're still reviewing again here. So 1/12 divided by 3/4 is, this one we don't have to switch anything. So let's just do 1/12 times, flip this one, 4/3. 12 and 4 can both be divided by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Multiply across. 1 times 1 is 1. 3 times 3 is 9. Answer is 1/9. Okay? That was easy. Now let's pop back up to story problems that we skipped. Layla has 7.5 cups of sugar. She's planning to make cookies. Each recipe calls for 1.5 cups of sugar. How many batches of cookies can she make? Okay, so remember, once we start this, you have to remember for the story problems, are you trying to figure out what 1 1/2 of 7.5 is? Or are we trying to figure out how many 1.5 cups are in 7.5? We're trying to figure out how many are in there, not just what 1.5 of that would be, right? So we divide. When we want to know how many of this is inside of this, we divide. When we want to know 1.5 of something, we multiply, okay? But we need to know how many 1.5 cups are in there. So we're going to do 7 1/2 divided by 1 1/2. Can you see that? Okay, so we need to do the upside down C on both of these this time. So 7 times 2 is 14, plus 1 is 15. That makes 15 halves. And 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. So this would be 3 halves. So we want to flip that upside down. 15.5 times 2/3. You know what? This is really tomorrow's lesson. I'm surprised they put this one in here. But that's okay. It's easy enough. 2 and 2. Those can cancel each other out. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 2 divided by 2 is 1. Then both of these can be divided by 3's. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 15 divided by 3 is 5, right? So then we multiply across. 5 times 1 is 5. 1 times 1 is 1, and we have 5. So how many batches? She can make 5 batches. Can you see that whole word? You sure can. That's the answer to A for your story problems. Okay, and I hope you figured it out. I need to go look and see that you guys are figuring out. I'm just going to ask you to answer some of them on Google Classroom every day and then attach your picture. Okay, so I can see you did the whole math page, but I want to just have certain ones graded just so I can see that you're getting it. Okay, so do both. So if it says 1C, that's section 1. Is there a 1C on this page today? There's section 1A, and there's a B in that section, but there's no C. So you wouldn't do a 1C. There's no such thing. But for section 2C, 2 would be section 2, and C would be right here. Okay? I'm pretty sure you guys are smart enough to figure that out. All right, second story problem. Mr. Bowman spent $12 on 2½ dozen tomato plants for his garden. How much did each dozen cost? So again, we want to know how many 2½s are in 12. Okay, so we take 12 divided by 2½. Okay, so that would equal 12 over 1 times, let's stick with divided first before we invert it. Divided by 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5. So this is technically your problem, we're thinking. And now we need to invert this one. So we're going to write it again. 12 over 1 times, flip it, 2 over 5. Okay? We don't need any of the rest of this now. We can't cancel because there's nothing that goes into 2 or 1. Both of them, and nothing goes into both 5 or 12. So we just keep going across. 12 times 2 is 24. 1 times 5 is 5. Okay, so we ended up with a mixed number. I don't like that marker. And whenever we have 24 over 5, then we're going to divide the top number by the bottom number, write the remainder as a fraction. So 5 into 24. Ooh, that's much brighter. Can you see that one better? Yeah, I bet you can. Okay, 5 goes into 24 4 times. 4 times 5 is 20. 24 minus 20 is 4. So it's going to be 4 and 4/5. That's funny because that's not a price. How much did each dozen cost? Okay, so what we do is we figure out, if you want to know how much of a dollar that is, okay, 4/5 would equal how many cents are in a dollar? 100, right? Okay, so 5 times what is 100? 20. So 4 times 20 is 80. So that's 80 out of 100, that's 80 cents. This is a weird little way to do this, but this will be $4.80. So whenever you're wanting to know how much of a dollar a fraction is, you do equivalent fractions into 100 for your denominator because there's 100 cents in a dollar. Okay, so that's $4.80 for each dozen, I think. I may have to stop and review this because to me that doesn't sound quite right. Let me think. 480 times 2. I'll just let you see me looking at it in my brain. Okay, there's 2 of the dozens. That's going to be 960, and then a half of a dozen, if it's 480, would be 240. 0, 10, 10, 12. Yep, it comes out to $12. Okay, that was right. It just seemed funny, a little bit funny. So either way would get you there. I showed you 2 different ways you can do it. So yeah, so that's that. Story problems, that's the front. The back of the page is mostly a review. You're going to read some thermometers. Let me make this smaller so you can see again. You're going to read some thermometers. Make sure you look and see which way it's going. Like this one over here. Where is it? This dial is going below 0. See? This is minus 0. This is above 0. So pay attention to where that's going. Your conversions. Some of you asked me today about, I can't remember the conversion formula. I sent home your math folders with you. Remember I gave you guys all a yellow folder? Because in 4th grade, some of you called them yellow pages. And then some of you might have had them at the back of the book. It's the handbook from the back of the book. And it has the formulas for temperature on the very last page. Okay? But just in case you can't find that, or maybe I accidentally didn't put it in your bag, or I couldn't find it, here's the formulas. You can also Google them. But to find Fahrenheit, we need to know what F is. So we use the F formula. To find Celsius, we use the C formula because we don't know what F is here and we don't know what C is here. F is, let me think. Oh, I just went blank. 9/5 C plus 32, and C is 5/9 of F minus 32. Remember, always do parentheses first. Do this part first, then multiply times 5/9. For this one, you have to multiply first, then add. Okay? And after that, you've got some division. And section 6, you know how it says to write the least common denominator? It says right on here, do not add. Okay? So if you were going to add these up, what would be your denominator that you would put? Hold on. My paper's going to fall down. What if you were going to add these up, what would you make the denominator be? Okay? Whatever the denominator would be for all of them, it has to be the lowest common denominator. You write it right there. We've done a few of those sections before. And the last one you should know as well, and if you don't remember, you need to either look it up in your math folder, or I'm sure you could also Google it. Okay, that's math for today. Have a great day, guys.